The Alchemist's Dilemma. A short interactive story written and narrated by Roaming Owl. Developed for the Tavern Jam Spring 26 by Paragrim, Luke Herman and Roaming Owl. With the help of Knives and Joel. For the best possible experience, we recommend to wear headphones. And now, please enjoy listening. Long ago, there existed a village full of fluffy owls, hidden within a magical forest. A harmonious place with no dangers, no villains. The owls have lived here peacefully for ages, yet one particular little owl was constantly drawn out of the forest. The urge for adventure was too great, the monotonous life in the village too boring. Yami, the adventurous owl's name, had been looking forward to this big day for weeks. So many preparations had been made, so often he had begged his mother to finally allow him that journey to the neighboring village called Findel. And so, the big day had finally come.
Yami! Yami! Wake up! It's time to go!
His little sister yelled from behind his bedroom door. It seemed that Yami was still deep in the realm of dreams, even though the long-awaited adventure was just around the corner. Yami's sister Tali was cheeky and often got on his nerves, but she always woke the sleepyhead up so he would never oversleep.
If you don't get up, I'll go to Findle instead.
Yami's bed was too fluffy and soft, his eyelids far too heavy. A little more sleep was very important for a good adventure, so he closed his tiny eyes and fell sound asleep again. After all, tomorrow will be another day for adventures. The Alchemist's Dilemma. Long ago,
Yami!
the tired eyes were opened, the still sleepy body defied the tiredness. Yami waddled slowly out of bed and got ready for his adventure. Yami lived in an underground room beneath his home tree, between roots and soil. His small bed stood right next to his desk, packed with all sorts of adventurous books. Directly next to the wooden round entrance door, a wardrobe stored dozens of green scarves. The room's wooden walls were covered with relics of past adventures. Yami was very proud of his collection of the most curious treasures he had ever gathered. In truth, however, to his mother's dismay, most of it was simply junk. Looking out the window, Yami was greeted by a wonderful day. The sun's rays pierced in the endless sea of leaves in the sky. The trees of the forest shone in golden light. His neighbor Willie was tending to the newly planted trees, and the voices of playing children wandered through the window into the room. There could be no better day for a new adventure. Still being sleepy, Yami opened the door and saw his little sister waiting in front of the room.
Just so you know, I ate all your cookies.
An angry, almost annoyed look was etched on her sweet face, revealing a certain disappointment. Apparently, she too would have liked to go on an adventure. Grumpily, she stomped towards her room, firmly stepping on the floor to emphasize her anger. Being annoyed, Yami sighed and headed towards the front door. The morning sun shone through the small window. Its warm sunshine fell on his plumage and was reflected in thousands of golden colors. As the door gently opened, birdsong and the scent of morning dew filled Yami's senses. There could be no better day for a wonderful journey to Findel. Let the adventure be. Oh, you're already up! Gramps will surely be pleased if you help him with his experiments so early in the morning. A voice more than familiar unexpectedly captured Yami's eagerly momentum. You forgot your promise to help grandfather today, didn't you? Yami stood rooted to the spot on the threshold of his long-awaited adventure. His anticipation burst like an overinflated balloon. Why today, of all days? A whirlwind of diverse feelings spread through his stomach, creating a battlefield full of disappointment, frustration, and utter misery. The little owl's expression froze. He had enough reason to cry for a whole year, 1,000 times over, to plunge the world into a sea of tears. Being a fearless adventurer also means having to bite the bullet and keep long-forgotten promises. Yami nodded to his mother and explained that he would set off immediately to see his grandfather. Despite the failed adventure, the forest's harmonious atmosphere calmed the little owl's agitated feelings. Maybe helping his grandfather isn't so bad after all. Having come to terms with the situation, Yami went to grandfather's house, who lived just a few trees away. As a little owlet, he often visited him and knew the way by heart. Turn left directly out of the front door, past neighbor Willie's potato fields, through the village market, behind Aunt Elma's general store, and then turn right. After a short time, Yami arrived at his grandfather's tree. The door leading into the Alchemist's hut was barely visible and covered by old withered leaves. It almost seemed as if Corelio, that was the grandfather's name, hadn't had a single visitor for a very long time. A large old oak tree stretches out before the little owl's feet, its branches reaching through the sea of leaves into the bright sky. The tree's bark was richly decorated with all sorts of rotting plants. Corelio was an alchemist. He was very eccentric, and with age, he became more and more senile. The villagers avoided him because of his cynical behavior. Every experiment that originated from his pen was always doomed to failure. Oh, and he was never enthusiastic about keeping his surroundings tidy. Yami knocked loudly on the door. After a long wait, however, there was neither a reaction, nor could he hear his grandfather. After several more minutes of knocking, there was still no reaction. Perhaps it would have been better to check on things? 10 more minutes of continuous knocking on the old door, and still no response. It would really be better to forego good manners and check on grandfather. I would rather not know the motives behind these actions, but this message is directed at the player. Would you also knock on the door for hours if you get no response behind—
Yes! Oh, yes. For the feather's sake, I'm coming. Stop knocking already.
It seemed as if everything was alright with Grandfather Corelio. He slowly opened the door to see who or what might be behind it. A paranoid gaze stared through the small crack in the door.
What do you want?
In the doorway stood an old, fragile, short-eared owl with unkempt plumage and two tightly squinting little eyes that definitely could not bear the sunlight. The clothes had many stains, and loose feathers were stuck on the fabric. Apparently, Corelio hadn't changed his clothes in a long time.
Do you want to keep staring at me like a hooligan? Or what do you want from me now? I've better things to do than watch a street kid like you gawk. What was that? You have to speak louder. Huh? You're your mother's child? Your mother is yummy? You naughty little rascal. Oh, you're Carissa's son. Why didn't you say so? I could use an assistant. You know, there's this one experiment I've been trying to do for weeks, but it's really difficult on my own, and I keep getting bothered by the loud, annoying neighbor kids. Did you know they deliberately tease me? Every morning they play in the neighbor's garden and bang nastily on my tree just to annoy me. But one day I'm going to give them a taste of their own medicine for breaking my beautiful flower pot while they were playing. That was the day I tried out this wonderful cookie recipe with frog saliva. These cookies were an absolute delicious treat. But Emma didn't like them at all. She kept saying I should never touch her oven again, otherwise she wouldn't invite me over to her house anymore. Can you imagine that? But I was the very one who had helped her with the moth infestation in the basement back then. It only took a small idea and this huge, vivacious problem was a piece of cake. You know, she was never really an intelligent person. I always had to help her with all her problems. It's not for nothing that I'm the alchemist of this lousy town today. Not like Borga, that good-for-nothing who lazes around all day. He's the one who took all the good food away from the children. He should be ashamed of himself. I still remember when I brewed that special potion for the children, and he secretly stole it and drank it himself. Oh, that devilish fool. You should have seen the look on his face. And now finally tell me who you are and what you were here. Ow! Why didn't you say that right away? I can always use an assistant, so don't just stand around and come in, you lazy bag.
The old grump moved his tired bones and gestured to Yami to close the door once he entered. A foul old smell filled the little owl's senses, and a large room with many different passages leading into the ground stretched out before him. Pennants and other junk were piled up everywhere, mostly in heaps. Corelio tiptoed towards the stairs to his basement and gestured to follow him. Surveying the rooms, Yami moved towards the stairs that seemed to lead to the basement. The stench got worse, and the old man coughed with every step. He didn't seem to be in the best of health anymore.
This is my sanctuary, so don't touch anything.
Corelio explained in a serious tone.
It's bad enough that your mother even sent you here. Someone like you only causes trouble.
The laboratory, as he called it, was a simple cellar in the heart of the tree's roots. Its walls were hung with rotting herbs and dozens of hastily written recipes pasted on top of each other.
And this is my current experiment.
He muttered to himself and pointed at a huge glass bottle containing a poisonous green substance.
It will make all the inhabitants of this village happy. But don't make the same mistake as Cedric and fall into that glass boy. I'm definitely not getting you out of there.
Glass containers of various sizes were scattered throughout the room. Some on the floor, some on wooden tables, and some even hung from the ceiling on ropes. The floor was covered with old leaves and many different torn pieces of paper on which writing and other scribbles could be seen. The walls were covered with various drawings of new inventions, including a hydrodynamic spatula, an automatic back scratcher, and a potion that stops aging. The latter recipe was covered with many scribbles, all of which clearly conveyed a single sentence: I don't want to age.
Have you stared around enough? Come here and help me.
Corelio grumbled grumpily. Despite the total chaos in the alchemy lab, Yami decided to help Grandfather. He has just climbed onto a small step to better stir the liquid in the kettle-like, transparent container.
Make yourself useful and give me some of that magic white dust that's in one of the glasses over there, in the cupboard.
Corelio pointed to a big cupboard where several bottles and all sorts of glass containers were lined up next to each other. Something was even moving in one of those bottles. Undeterred by the mountains of trash, Yami examined the various bottles, but to his surprise, 2 of them contained white dust and were located right next to each other. Even upon closer analysis, both contents looked identical. Yami carefully grabbed the bottle with his fluffy wings and brought it to his grandfather, who was staring motionless into his experiment with a fixed gaze.
Your sacrifice will by no means be in vain, stupid Cedric.
Corelio muttered to himself as he reached to the bottle containing the white dust, unscrewing the lid and pouring the entire contents into the liquid. 5 minutes have passed since the white dust was added, and nothing had happened yet.
Was it just salt? No. I'll normally put that right next to the nitric acid.
15 minutes have passed. 15 minutes during which the 2 of them simply stared at the green liquid.
It could have been my baking powder.
30 minutes of pointless staring have passed while no result has occurred.
Oh, that's right. I don't use any baking powder at all.
A whole hour has now passed without any progress whatsoever in this pointless story.
We could use the other white powder. Yeah.
No, I'm tired of reading all these pointless texts about a senile old who can't even manage to get off his and do something useful. Continue this nonsense on your own.
Oh, well, that was unexpected. Oh, hey, something's happening. Quickly, bring me some of the pickled frog eyes and fermented toenails.